Magnets, crystals, pyramids.
Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Welcome home, family, and join us for the fun. Colorful guest people everywhere under the sun. Interesting conversations. Prayers first has begun. Invocation, manifestation, conversation then will come. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Let's start drinking some water, juice or tea. King Killer's recommended for you and me. Guayusa mixed together, maple syrup or honey. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, the artists, the seers, authors and teachers, dissolving your fears. Workshops of wisdom, the circle is wide. Plant medicine whispers, the planets align. All magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Crystals and pyramids, magnets that spin. Organ awakening the power within. Tantra and herbs, the gateways ignite. Shamanic drums calling truth into light. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Psychedelics painting vision so bright. Planetary activists guarding the night. Awareness expanding the cosmos in view. Higher vibrations are flowing through you. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Yeah. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Xenon and herbs, you'll feel much better. Drink your tea now instead of later. Stay ahead of your health. Health is always your greatest wealth. Oh, no, no. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Hey. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Mad science fun, tear the blast. Experiments under the sun. Sacred fire, prayers begun. Success and happiness, your destiny has come. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Yeah, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, the artists, the seers, authors and teachers, dissolving your fears. Workshops of wisdom, the circle is wide. Plant medicine whispers, the planets align. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Yeah, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, crystals and pyramids, magnets that spin. Organ awakening the power within. Tantra and herbs, the gateways ignite. Shamanic drums calling truth into light. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey on Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids. YouTube, as well as the Moroccan Post Media YouTube. Oh, this is wonderful. I am so excited. I mean, to be announcing a 6-month series, Moorish Connection to Masonry with Abdullah Iltale Mosi Bey and Rasiris Il. We have our co-piloting with us, my man Israel Bey, who will be sharing the slides. Want to thank you, brother Israel, for your commitment and dedication, brother. I have had brother, my man. I have had brother Vicerious on this platform about 5 or 6 times already over the past year and a half, and just excited to embark on this 6-month series, Moorish Connection to Masonry. Thank you, brother, for agreeing to do this with me. I'm so excited. Uh, you want to? Can you bring some more light to your situation? All right, you. All right, I think you're a little better. All right, great. So across the screen is my website, Masonry.org. Mooresandmasonry.org is my website. I'm excited to once again be bringing this to you. We're going to delve right into it. We're going to be dealing with part 1 of the series, Moorish Connection to Masonry series, stolen culture, heritage, and continuation of colonization of the Moorish nation by Shriners and the Grotto. Looking at the part 1, the Moorish Fez. And so, but my series, you take us there. You're still in the dark. In the back, your background is dark. Can you give some more light?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're better.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
you're
me?
better now. I can hear you. It wasn't that. It's the light. It was the lighting. You're
You
fine.
good?
You were
For some
fine.
reason, it sounds like you're echoing.
Am I echoing?
Nah.
What about now? Am I
Yeah, it's
better?
like an echo I'm hearing.
What did you hear? Echo? You saw
Yeah,
Israel?
still.
Everyone's clear to me.
You said it's clear that Israel. You hear one testing, 1, 2, 3. You hear echoing. You still hear it? Why serious? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I still hear it. It just sounds like you're talking twice. Can you hear me?
I get you fine, but Israel, you
I
said
hear you.
so. Israel said I'm fine.
Yeah.
So we gotta. I don't know what to do,
Okay, it
brother.
might just be me.
Yeah, it's not.
Somebody comment said everything's good on their end.
All right. All right. So let's get going. All right, go ahead. Take over. My series. My series. Do you hear me?
All right, brothers and sisters.
All right. Good. All right.
Good evening. Peace, Moors, Islam.
Continue, brother. What
Yeah,
happened?
for me, it seems like a lag, but I got it. All right, so first of all, I'd like to give thanks and honor to all those who are attending tonight. Also want to give thanks to my old earth, my matriarch. It's her birthday today, her solar return. So I wanted to give her a shout out, of course. And yeah, I'm still hearing that echo. Hold on 1 second.
All right. So as our series takes care of that, I might be like I said. You think you need to go out and come back in? You need to go out and come back in. All right, so as we welcome everyone who just joining us, welcome. This is the Moorish Connection to Masonry series. It's a 6-month series every first Monday of the month on this platform where we'll have the Moorish Connection to Masonry series with myself and brother Viserys Ill, as he's working to straighten out the technical difficulties he's having. We have here the stolen cultural heritage and continuation of colonization of the Moorish nation by Shriners and the Grotto. We have those. Hit that like button.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I've always could hear you.
Okay.
Now I'm hearing the echo.
I hear it too. And then I hear it.
I'm hearing echo on your end of our series. We hear it on your end.
Hold on a second.
All right. So those, hit that like button. Let people know that we're live. Share this to your social media platforms. Let them know we're live. Embarking on our part 1 of our 6-month series, Moorish Connection to Masonry. We still hear the echo.
You still hear the echo?
Yes. We have feedback. We get on your end.
How about now?
You're good. All right. Go ahead, brother. You got it.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to focus on this week, especially starting this month off, first Monday of the month of November, we're talking about the feds. Now,
All right, Siri. By Siri, you don't want to move around.
you're hearing consistently.
All right, good. All right.
You're hearing consistently about a Shriners Fez or a Grotto Fez. A lot of brothers and sisters don't realize that all of this is a continuation of our culture and heritage being stolen from us. Because when you look at it, we hear about the colonization through different ways, through how they subdued us through slavery or subdued any nation through slavery. When you get into that, that's one aspect of it. When they're stealing your culture and your heritage and they're putting it right in front of your face and putting another name on it, unless you look into it deeper, you won't really realize that it's even yours. You hear Moors talk about the Fez all the time. All right, it's a Moorish Fez. Yet you see Shriners Fez. And if you go identify with someone on the street, especially someone coming up today, when they see the same Fez, if they don't know who Moors is, the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth is it's a Shriners Fez. But where did the Shriners adopt the Fez from? Because they didn't create it. Now, through previous studies, especially with Brother Ab, even myself, Brother Yisrael, when we get into talking about the Fez, we go back to with Shriners International. That's one place we start where they first adopted it. And that wasn't until 1872. That's when they adopted it. And at that time, they were, before they became Shriners International, it was started off by like Walter Fleming and William J. Florence. He was an actor back then. But pretty much from what he gathered and what he's seen in France, at a party and the culture they was utilizing in France, which is not French culture, he brought back and talked to his brothers and established what they now call Shriners International. But when you look at where they got everything from, the culture that they took, it's more than just the Fez. It's more than just our land. With everything that's been taken from us, this is continued today, even through what we now call Freemasonry. And through Freemasonry, everything is pretty much Moorish culture redefined and identified as something else. Masons don't wear the Fez, it's the Shriners that wear the Fez. Grotto Masons wear the Fez. They have subordinate orders, women's auxiliary orders that wear the Fez. We have our own brothers and sisters walking around wearing these same Fezes, but don't identify with the fact that the origin point comes from them. Even they think it's something that belongs to the shrine, as they call it. These things are not so. The reason it's important to bring this to your attention is because that you're witnessing right in front of you the cultural thievery from the culture bandits that's been taken from us for centuries. All starting back with the expulsion from Spain. We all know about how the Moors ruled Spain for 750 years. That's pretty much something that's known now. At the same time, nobody has identified the fact that in coming out of that, they've adopted everything that we've taught them, renamed it and structured it, called it something different, and then tell us, or let me rephrase that, document it as if it's never been ours. But if you understand certain key words, oh, we got it from the Far East. We got it from the Orient. When you get into checking into these things, it all still leads back to us. Now, Brother Israel, can you go to the next slide? As you can see, the brother on the left, it's an animated version of what the Fez is. Just one animated version. Don't ever get into the fact of thinking that there's only one Fez. But this particular Fez, if you look to the picture on the right, these are grotto members. And you see the Fezes that they're wearing. Even the one in the center who's supposedly the head of it all with a somewhat similar type old school hat like George Washington and them used to wear. But you look at all the Fezes in the room. Who does it belong to? You look at the one person to the left, the brother with the melon that's melanated to the left. That brother probably has no identity or no idea that that fez he's wearing is tied to his culture. That's not worthy of instruction in these places. Why is this important? Because that brother probably is in disbelief of everything that's going on around him and doesn't even see how it could be possibly tied to what was stolen from his people. We look at these things and we just take advantage of the fact that that's not important. How does that help us now? One way is to have your eyes open. If your eyes are open to what's going on, it can possibly make you look more into it. The Fez was a deep part of our culture. Why was it so important for them to adopt that? What made that so important? So important that even King Philip II made it a point that we would not be allowed, or Moors would not be allowed to practice their culture whatsoever. If you did not convert to Christianity, those who converted became Moriscos. But you wasn't allowed to practice your culture. You wasn't allowed to make salat. You wasn't allowed to practice through Ramadan. These things were so important that they took the time out to banish and kill and seize land from those who practiced their culture. Now, the only other ones around at that time who they were doing the same thing to was the Jews and the Protestants, depending on the time period that you're talking about. But if you look at everything starting from King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, who at first, they let them ride for a minute until the Catholic Church and everything got more involved later. Where one time when they first merged, Aragon and Castile. Aragon and Castile were the different kingdoms that merged. Ferdinand was king of Aragon. So when they mixed with Castile, which was Isabella's kingdom, when they merged together, became one, that's when they started to try to take control more of us that were there, or take control more of the Moors that were there. They made it a point that you could not practice your culture, but then look at it at the same time. You were not allowed to practice it. So you go from 1492 through all the different mandates and edicts that was put in that stopped you from practicing your culture, to come up to 1871 and see someone else practicing your culture. But now it's years later and you don't even know it's your culture. The astronomy and the mathematics and everything they're teaching. Spain didn't have that. Not before 750 AD. Spain had none of that. And the French at that time was going back and forth with wars between Spain and England. And you look at all the wars that was going on. They at war with each other at the same time, trying to suppress the Moroccan power at that time, or the Islamic power at that time. Yet at the same time, all of those nations adopted something from that same Islamic power, from that same Moroccan power. The colony of Morocco over there, what they now term as Africa, the colony over there that they call Morocco, it went back and forth between Spain and France all within the same century. Before it was so-called claimed back and got its independence in the 1900s. There was many wars going on back then, and through all of those wars, every one of them, if you think about it, you look at history, when did Masonry get adopted? Yes, we all know the ties to Masonry as far as Kemet or Egypt. We understand that. But when you look at the actual culture and the things that they actually utilize, not just the way of dress, but even in what's being taught. What did they know about architecture until we taught them? What did they know about astronomy and mathematics until we taught them? I grew up with everybody saying it's a white man's world. Who's the white man you're talking about?
That's a great point. That's a great point. You just got me, you got me, I hear the feedback. Like you really got me, that's a great point, that when you made this statement about hearing people say that it's a white man's world. Now let's take a look again at this photo. And so my series raises a great point of what's been out there of this is a white man's world. When people say white man, they referring to in the connotators of those that look like Donald Trump, that those that's in this picture except that brother, that brother, they'll say white man. All right. Now, I think where my series was going is, let's raise the question, is it or is it a Moorish world? Is it a Is it a white man's world? Because their concept is, well, Sirius and Abdullah are buttholes. Of course it is. Don't you see people that look like Donald Trump ruling? But that's not where Sirius is going. He laid the foundation. What science and philosophy are they using? What knowledge base are they utilizing? Whose fez are they wearing? Whose names are they have on the Moorish fez that they use for their shrine temples? Whose regalia do they wear? Is it? And so it's like Sirius laid the foundation when he mentioned that they didn't know about astronomy until we taught them. They didn't know about architecture until we taught them. So is it a quote unquote white man's world? Or is it a Moorish world suppressed? Is it a Moorish world that they're suppressing? Great point, Sirius. Great point.
And when you get into it, especially if you're using, Henry Black's dictionary, you get what white is. And it has nothing to do with the color unless you're dealing with Blumenbach. Go ahead,
right,
brother.
but that's not where you were going though. When we with that, but we're going with even with the connotation. But you were laying out the that you were going with the everyday people's use by the millions are white. And you were raising the white. Is it a Donald Trump looking world? Is it a Donald Trump looking world? Is that where you were going? Is it a Donald Trump looking people world? Or is it a Moorish world? Is it a Moorish world that's suppressed? That's pretty much where you were going. Is it a Moorish world that's suppressed? I mean that they're using our architecture knowledge. They're using our astronomical knowledge. They're wearing our Moorish fez. They're wearing our Moorish regalia. They're using our Moorish names. They're using our Moorish scimitar.
And then they're telling you it's Arab,
right,
Oriental, Far Eastern, Middle Eastern. These names is code names that have no meaning. If you go into the Middle East, it's more than one type of people in the Middle East. So to say someone's Middle Eastern, if you go to Africa, the same way you have melanated Africans, you also have pale skin Africans that come from the Dutch that are called Africanos. So to just point to a region, or if you look at the Orient, what's Orient? Most of us think Oriental, it has something to do with Asian or Chinese, and no, that has nothing to do with Orient in that fashion. Orient is just from the East, but to a certain people, the Orient being the East is no further than what they call the Middle East. Now, as the brother said in the picture, it's only one brother in there. How many of those other pale skin brothers or people wearing the fez in the picture, how many of them actually know the history?
There's two brothers in the picture.
Yeah, one's a little far back. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just saw them. And you said, all right. When you said one brother, and
now, mind you, this is a grotto lodge. This picture is a grotto lodge. So it's not
shrine. Where's the grottos? That's Shriners.
No, those are grottos. I got that picture. Those are actually grotto members. Grotto members do the same thing. Depending on the auxiliary that they come from, they wear the same type fez, do the same thing the Shriners do, or they wear a black fez with almost the same.
Yeah, the grottos wear the black fez.
Right. They wear red too. They wear red.
But I'm saying the Shriners, it's not a Shriners fez. There's no such thing as Shriners fez. I'm saying the Shriners the Shriners use the more scimitar and the crescent and the star. This is the Shriners. These are
Right.
Shriners.
Now,
That- That's
some are actually, some are grotto. Well, it'll be if you look into it, they grotto
what,
members also do the same thing,
yeah,
even in their auxiliaries.
I know just for the audience. That's what they are. It's
Yeah.
important. So for the audience,
Mm-hmm.
so that the audience will know the difference. All right. It's
Mm-hmm.
important that the audience so they this all right. So when they see this, when the audience sees this,
Mm-hmm.
all right, that's grottos. That's grotto. When
Mm-hmm.
the audience see with this picture, that's Shriners.
Mm-hmm.
That just as we're educating the audience, this is grottos. This is grottos. All right, this is the picture that one of the pictures I have on my book cover, Moors and Masonry, Part 1. That's
Right.
grotto. That's the Morcana. That's the Morcana. All right. That's Shriners. And this in the photo in the slide. This is right here. So let me just so that we can so that the audience will know. This is grotto. This is Islam. That's the Islam. That's the name of the temple. A grotto's temple. Islam.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Muslim name of the Muslim temple. Let me have a so that the audience will know the distinction. They will know the distinction when they see it. I got the picture of the black. Here it is. Here we go. Right here. This is grottos. That's grottos. So now I want them to see, look at this picture and look at the slide.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's Shriners in the slide, and this is grottos. It's not a grottos fest, it's a Moorish fest. It's not a Shriners fest, it's a Moorish fest. But that
Yeah.
so that the audience will know the difference.
Yeah.
Right?
It's what they would call it.
Yeah. I just want the
Yeah.
audience to know
Yeah. The
the
difference.
difference between the orders and what the orders look like. I mean, as far as the different looking of the fairs. The grottos wear the Moorish black fairs, and they have the Morcana with the horns. That's called a Morcana. And the
Mm-hmm.
Shriners wear the burgundy Moorish fairs, and they have the Moorish scimitar. They have the crescent moon and the 5-pointed star and a shrunken head. That's the Shriners.
Mm-hmm.
That's for proper identification.
So those would be the two differences. As you go into more study on it, you'll find the different adaptations of it. Um, I've seen a grotto fez with Sinatra's name on it, you know. So they have different variations, but the brother is correct. When you see the maroon with the scimitar on it, usually in a crescent moon and star, that's usually no doubt that is the Shriners International. What Shriners International would call their fez. It's an adaptation of our Moorish fez, just with rhinestones and putting the emblem of the man from the emblem of the protection and justice, which is what the sword is, the scimitar is. It's the emblem of justice that was used by us. Yet and still, they utilize it as well, but in a different capacity. It's more for subjugating purposes as it is for justice or showing strength or what we used it for. However, they adapted it and used it for their own purposes, the same way they do when we talk about the 5-pointed star. The 5-pointed star that they adapted with the crescent moon, which is technically right there on almost every Islamic flag, but yet they have it on there on the
On
fez
on our on our on our Moorish fairs.
as
Now
if
what
it belongs to them, as
now
if it belongs to them.
I got a question. What do you say? Because these conscious Moors, I've heard quite a few conscious Moors say this over the past over 33 years. 33 years I've heard this comment. There's conscious Moors who will refer to our Moorish fairs that you see right now, that the Shriners rename and reclassify the Shriners Fest. Conscious Moors who will refer to the Moorish Fest that you see as the Shriners Fest, that they desecrated. They desecrated it. And it's the Shriners Fest because they got the scimitar, but that doesn't make it the Shriners Fest though.
So then the question should be put: if someone comes along
Mm-hmm.
and puts graffiti on your house, does it make it their house?
Great analogy. Great analogy.
So they,
Absolutely not.
so they're still utilizing what's ours. The question you should ask yourself is, why is it so important to suppress that? Why is it mandatory to suppress that information? Why are they not, if their lodges is supposed to be giving up so much light, how come the brothers are not enlightened to the fact, and the sisters are not enlightened to the fact that that belongs to them? They will take it back no further than 1872. They won't take it back any further than that. Because if they do take it back further, they're going to probably wake somebody up. But they don't take it back any further than that. Our sisters are wearing a fez of many different colors as well, mostly white,
Mostly white, yeah.
with the same emblems. They're called daughters of Isis. It says it right. Is that not ours? So what? They're using the Greek form of the name, and it's actually Osset. And don't get it twisted. You go in certain places and you'll find the name Osset too. They'll say daughters of Isis. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's the Greek name, and yeah, that's all it is Greek in name.
And transliteration.
And
It's Greek and transliteration.
mm-hmm.
The form is changed. It's the Greek form that transliterated from Aset.
But they keep them away from the true knowledge of Osset. They don't tell you that the hieroglyphs of Osset was actually a throne. They don't teach all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not waking our brothers and sisters up to that is the throne. That is the representation of the mother coming from the Kemetic aspect that touches in all aspects of astronomy and astrology as well. You get into the astronomical aspect of it. Isis or Osset represents Sirius A. They say Asar or Orion represents, or I'm sorry, Asar or Osiris represents Orion. The astronomy, even in Egypt, they try to hide it and they go to Egypt. They go into Egypt because they don't want to go any further than that. And most of the time they go into Egypt without proper knowledge of Egypt. They don't have proper knowledge of Kemet. They don't have proper knowledge of what they're actually looking at. And those that do, they took an oath not to wake you up about it. You're not supposed to know about it. The Inquisition stated so, that you're not supposed to know about it. Whether you're dealing with the Roman or the Spanish Inquisition, you're not supposed to know about you. You think it changed?
All right, serious. Do you really think that a lot of our brothers, like what percentage of our brothers that really know what we know, like really know it? Like what percentage though? That like what percentage of the Shriners, what percentage of those who are first degree, second or third degree, what percentage do that of them know what we know? Like, do they really know? Because I've heard over the years they all know. Do they really know?
No, they don't.
I mean,
Because
I've come.
they get a version of it that's pacifying. That's why everything stops and goes no further than Egypt in most of the organizations
But
that deal
what
with the
version do they get though? Like, what do they really get that of knowing something? Like, what do they know?
As far as what they know, that would be
History,
those.
philosophy, astronomy of it. So
You would have
what
to
do
deal
they
with.
really know?
I haven't come across a brother who knows absolutely. Maybe those who were raised Moors or raised indigenous or something to that effect, to where someone actually guided them in that information. But when you looking at the mass collective nowadays, brother, I'm sorry, it's not enough conscious Moors even knowing that information. So let alone brothers in the organization or sisters in the organization knowing that it's not enough conscious Moors that understands that or understands that. If I must be real about it. We hear a lot about it's our national headdress. What that mean? That's all most conscious Moors say, oh, it's our national headdress. That's all. What else? Oh, the tassels are umbilical cord, and they give me all this symbolism. But do you actually understand the history of what it is? Do you understand the history of where it came from? Do you understand the history of why it's ours? Do you understand that we're still being colonized with our own feds? Not just physically, we are being mentally colonized.
Economically and most physically,
Mm-hmm.
economically, politically.
And spiritually.
Subjects called subjugation. In international law, it's called subjugation. So that we can let's put the international law principle to it
And
because you
doing
have
it with your own culture.
yeah stripping into our culture identity. You want to go to the next slide? You ready to go to the next slide?
Brother Israel, go ahead. You can go to the next one. Now, says there, the United States continues to implement King Philip II of Spain's edict of 1567 Pragmatica, the stripping of the Moors' cultural identity, nationality, national identity, and Moorish heritage and legacy. Moorish fez, Moorish regalia, Moorish names, Moorish language, etc., claimed by European Shriners and European grotto mystics since the mid 1800s. Everything that we were just saying, even our regalia, it's not just the fez. We're focusing on the fez, but they got their whole regalia is not something created by them. It's all adopted. Why is that being hidden from you brothers and sisters who are in the craft? You're there for light. Why isn't the basic principle of who you are the light that should be attained first? And those who know, why are they not enlightening you to it?
So once again, is it a white man's world? Is it a Donald Trump? We know that people that look like Donald Trump are running stuff. We're clear on that. There's no so nobody. I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. We know that people that look like Donald Trump is running stuff. We're clear on that. We're talking about they're running stuff with whose science, with whose knowledge. They're wearing whose fez, wearing whose regalia, using whose names for their temples. There's 150 grotto temples in the United States jurisdiction. There's over 206 shrine temples in the world. When I was in 2011, no, 2012, I think it was 2012, in Indianapolis, Indiana, then July, there I was at the Shriners Parade I was with a group. It was a group of us that accompanied me to take pictures for my book, Moorish Mondays Part 1, which came out in December 2016. Put your phone on. Mute your mic. I serious. Yeah. So those they took. I was streaming the parade, the Shriners Parade, live. Remember Ustream? And there was a little girl with her mother. She at that time she looked like she was 5 years old at the time, and she saw hundreds of Donald Trump looking males just parading. It was like 30 blocks, like 20 blocks. They were lined up and they were presiding. And she said, "Look, mommy, they're wearing the Shriners hat." Now, how did that 5-year-old girl come to learn that the Moorish Fez is the Shriners hat? 5 years old. She looked to be 5 years at the time. So you see that culture stripping. So whose world is it? We know that people, once again, that look like Donald Trump are running things. They're running things with what knowledge? And so I'm glad you did raise that question. Is it a white man's world? Meaning, is it a Donald Trump looking world? Yes, they're running, but they're not running it with their knowledge. That's the key. That's where we're going. So if they're not running it, so it's not their world then. Then if they're not running it with their knowledge, as Series made it very clear, who taught them astronomy? We look at the book called Dirt. Google Dirt, the book. The Visigoths, the Vandals, the Al-Andalusia, land of the Vandals, Al-Andalusia, land of the Vandals. The word vandalize comes from the Germanic tribe Vandals. And how the reason why the word vandal, and come to be used as a verb, vandalize, gained its modern connotative meaning because the Vandals were warlike. The Vandals were uncivilized. So the conditions of the Vandals took on became the modern connotative meaning, uncivilized, ruthless, uprooting things. So it wasn't until we, the Moors, paved streets, street lights, oil lamps, libraries, universities. Cordoba housed over 600,000 manuscripts. In the 700s was the Mecca of world education. Surgery to Teachers, the book, the 3-volume book, The History of the Moorish Empire in Europe by S.P. Scott, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Surgery to Teachers. Textile industries. So whose world is it? I mean, whose knowledge are they utilizing? Whose philosophy? It's our world being suppressed by them. being hijacked by them. So we just want to make that, continue to pound that, and we'll bring that back. We'll bring that full circle. At this time, type your questions in, because as when we get to the questions section, you would have already had them typed in, already thought about it. So think of questions as we go along, and probably at 8 o'clock we'll start. We'll fill some questions about in 15 minutes. Continue all our series.
And that mentioned a good point. Don't forget about the architecture. All this beautiful architecture they call Moorish architecture, but at the same time, lay claim to it in different ways.
And use the shrine temples. The shrine temples are design Moorish architecture. The Morocco temple. That's the Morocco temple. Also Grotto's temple. So you have there's 100. So these various shrine temples, you just Google, and we'll have them. And next, is in this presentation.
And the pictures will be in the next one.
It'll be in the next one. You'll see a series of quite a few shrine temples with Moorish architecture. And they use Moorish names for their shrine temples. So whose world is it?
Yeah.
This is key, man. This is key. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for that.
Now, as we get into it further, don't forget, France is still around too. And the French's version of Freemasonry, they created the Grand Orient. Now, all of this is around 1800s, after the expulsion from Spain and everything. And then you have all these different so-called nations that's utilizing regalia, symbology, and all that from not their culture, but ours. If they couldn't bathe themselves, how all of a sudden they come out with mathematics, astronomy, all of these different sciences, architecture, and build all of these different sciences, and yet at the same time give no knowledge of the Moors, give no explanation really of where something came from, other than saying, oh, it's the Far East, it's Oriental, it's Asiatic. They throw you off with all of these names, just don't get around, but still won't get around to the fact that it's yours. By proper study, it should be known by now, if you've been putting in for a couple of years, that the Egypt over there, what they now call Africa, is not the only Egypt. It's not the first Egypt. Yet and still, that's where they tie their origin to. They won't go beyond the 3 pyramids of Giza. You really think that's where astronomy and all that began? There's mounds and pyramids that are found to be older than Giza over here. They've underwater pyramids, or pyramids that are now underwater, that were all down there near Mexico and those different parts of Central America. They're all underwater, and they were older than what they call the pyramids in Giza. Not taking anything away from the pyramids in Giza, not taking anything away from the Egypt or Kemet over there. But that's the furthest that they'll take their foundation. Just not to call it yours. Here's a question for yourself. Did they wear fezzes in Egypt? If they wore feathers in Egypt, then maybe I could say, okay, that's where they should stop. But did they wear feathers in Egypt? Which you will come to find out is they did. However, they were more for certain merchants, tradesmen, priests. But when you get into the Ottomans, the Turks, whatever aspect of the Moors you're talking about, some call it the Barbary pirates. You start looking into this, you will see Tarbouche, definitely. You will see Fezes, definitely. In certain places, it was part of the military force. In certain places, it was part of the aristocracy. There was places in France to where it was part of military forces out there. But now here in the West, or what they call the West, what they term as the United States or Western Freemasonry, they still utilizing the same thing, just calling it something different. The difference in the Grand Orient between the Grand Orient and the United Grand Lodge of England, if you think about it, in the Grand Orient, women can become Masons. They allow both genders in the same lodge or women lodges. Things you won't find over here in the West, unless it's clandestine. Even the Shriners, even the Grotto have women's auxiliary units. The funny thing is, one of the women's auxiliary units for the Grotto is the Mysterious Order of Witches of Salem. And they wear fezzes. And that's the women's auxiliary of the Grotto. Founded in 1917. Chicago chapter, the first one was called the Aryan Cauldron, #1. And that's the women's auxiliary. They say it has nothing to do with the witches of Salem, Massachusetts, who were burned. They say it has nothing to do with that, although you have to be a wife or sister of a master mason in order to get in. To get into the grotto, you have to be a master mason. To get into the shrine, you need to be a master mason. Although that might be changing. History does things differently after a while, but at the same time, all you have to do is be a master mason or be related to one. Now, the Mysterious Order of the Witches of Salem, the women's auxiliary to the grotto, you will not find their rituals online. You will not find their rituals on books.
That could actually
Be the secret society. Because they don't put their rituals and everything out there. But they put out the fez that they wear. Your fez that they wear. That they wear. What makes it more theirs than yours? As I said before, just because someone puts graffiti on your house does not make it their house. But if they can convince you that it's not yours and you wearing theirs, or if they can convince you that it's their house and not yours.
But we want to make clear that they're putting our Moorish names on our Moorish fez. Let's be clear. Like what? Like you got the name. Let's start with the name.
Start
What
with the
is
name. They
the
don't even
name?
identify that it's our name.
they're putting what name? Moorish name. They're putting a Moorish name on the Moorish fez. They're not putting English family names.
Mhm.
They're not putting French family names. They're not putting German family names. They're not putting Polish family names. But they're putting Moorish names. I just want to bring that to conscious Moors, particularly conscious Moors who, make the claim that it's the Shriners Fez because they consecrated it and, that type of thing. So I'm speaking more so to those conscious Moors,
When you get
because
into it with those conscious Moors, though, brother, most of them don't even realize that most of the Moorish names that are on those fezzes that they're wearing, most of them are even family or bloodline names.
yes, because like I said, they don't do any research. They're pretty. Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, I don't. My conscious Moors. I love you. I'm just keeping it at that. I love you, conscious Moors. I'm just keeping it at that.
But it doesn't get around the facts. The names are even ours, and we're taught not to even identify with the names. Why? Because the first thing out their mouth is Aaron.
See,
And you hear
renaming.
Aaron.
All right, so let's look at that. Arab. All right, let's look at Arab. So Arab names. All right, so now this. All right, someone says, no, they're Arab names. Now, I don't see any treaties or diplomatic correspondence with the Arab nation and Spain. The treaty between the Arab nation and Spain, or Arab nation and France, Arab nation and England, Arab nation and Oregon. I don't see any diplomatic correspondence. But I do see Moors in the treaties, and the treaty between Morocco and France, and Morocco and the Netherlands, and wars between Morocco and the Dutch Republic. But I don't see Arab though.
Mhm.
Like where they get Arab? Where they're getting Arab from? Like, and far as the documentation, that's what I'm saying. It's knowing how to challenge people who make those claims.
Mhm.
Show me Arab in the treaties, Arab in diplomatic correspondence. Show me that Oregon and Castile, King Isabella, and King Ferdinand were not fighting the Arabs. The treaty, the treaty, the surrendering treaty of Granada.
Mhm.
It doesn't have Arab. It's Moors. But it's protecting the personal rights of the Moors in the treaty. Arab is not in the treaty. The statue of the Moors, the statue of the four Moors, founded in Chain in Laverna. I see Moors. I see black Moors in the 1560 Geneva Bible. Black Moor in the 1599 Geneva Bible. Like, we're Arab. Like, show me Arab and documentation and documentation and plays and short stories and treaties and diplomatic correspondence. Show me Arab. My brothers, my conscious Moors, please hear me. Please hear me, conscious Moors. Please hear me. We got to get our game up. We got to get our game up. We got to get our game up so that we can defend, that against the onslaught of, really, they're not pretty much challenges, because it's just our game is not up. That's all. The challenges are not really strong challenges. It's that our game is too weak. Our game is too weak. Like I said, I don't want to. We're gonna continue, but I'm gonna keep quiet. But I don't. I'm in as far as I don't want to. I love you, conscious Moors. But I am challenging us to get our game up. I am doing that.
Well, if you get into it, Arab didn't start getting used till around, I believe, the 19th century. So you will either see Moorish in certain places, Islamic, but you won't see Arab till probably around the 19th century.
But where do you see it? Do you see it in treaties?
Nope.
Do you see it in diplomatic correspondence from
Nope.
kings and queens and prime ministers and presidents and consuls and consul generals and ambassadors? Do you see it in, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about diplomatic correspondence among governments, government officials, treaties, correspondences, official documentation, letters from kings and queens and consuls and consul generals and ambassadors. You know, in the 7, 6, that's 1400, 1500, 1600s. We're not talking about somebody. We're not talking about a writer. You know, and then they're writing, you know, the Arabs. You know what I mean? We're not talking that. I'm talking primary sources. I'm not talking about secondary, an author, you can show me a book and they say Arabs. I'm not talking Chancellor Williams. I'm not talking Chancellor Williams, the destruction of Black civilization. I'm not talking, that's not primary source. Because you can show me in Chancellor Williams' book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, where he writes Arab. That's not a primary source. I'm talking treaties, diplomatic correspondences. You see how I'm challenging? That's not a primary source. That's a secondary source. Chancellor Williams' book. It's not a treaty. Those aren't diplomatic correspondence written by kings and queens. Those aren't correspondence written by King Isabella, King Ferdinand. Those aren't correspondence written by the Moorish caliphs and emirates. All right, we go to the next slide.
All right, I believe we actually covered that. I think we covered that one already. All right, Shriners Fez, red brimless hat with a black tassel, adopted in 1872 as the official headgear for members of Shriners International. It was chosen to reflect the Near East, here we go again, and Arabian themes of the fraternity. And it features the official emblem of the organization, including a crescent and scimitar, two claws, a sphinx, and a five-pointed star. The hat serves as an outward symbol of membership, and its emblem represents different aspects of the fraternity's characteristics and philanthropy.
Culture identity theft. That is culture identity theft language. This is how they do it. Da, 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 da. This is how they use it. The culture identity theft. That's exact primary. I'm glad you put that there. That's a prime example of culture identity theft. Of reconstructing. That's a prime example of reconstructing. That's a prime example of renaming. Prime example of reclassifying. Of prime example of stripping. Of our cultural identity. So how they doing it? So how they do what? Constructive language.
Mm-hmm.
Reconstructing the narrative about the Fez.
That whole thing is a spell. Because how many people going to look that up and they're going to get that and go, oh, okay, so it's Near East and Arabian.
They're not going to go beyond that. You know that. They're going to do that. This is, you know, they already know that.
Can't go and argue about it. Even conscious Moors. I've had the argument with conscious Moors. Oh, it's Turkish, brother. Okay. Who was in Turkey? Why did they call it Turkey? Did they call it Turkey? Did the Ottoman Empire call it Turkey?
No.
So how's it Turkish?
The Ottoman is just the name. That's the name of it's Osman.
Yeah.
That's just that's the family name that's part of that established that dynasty in the
Mhm.
mid 1200s. So it's a house. It's an Osman house,
So if I
Germanized
make
Ottoman. And the
so if I make a
dynasty is the period of the dynasty represents the period of the reign of that house. So that Osman dynasty lasted for 700 years up until 1919, when you have a disbarment that broke up this this is called disarmament or barbarment that broke up the empire from mid 750 1250 to 1919 of that reign of that house, the Osman house.
And not to mention when you get into the whole aspect of what they now call Saudi Arabia, a lot of brothers and sisters don't know that Saudi or Saudi is a family name.
That's the house. Saudi's the house.
Hmm. So you hear
The house
Saudi
of Saudi.
Arabia. Was
House
there
of
another?
Saudi.
Right. Did they call it another Arabia? Or has it always been Saudi Arabia? Or should I say, has it always been Arabia? Because Arabia is what they call it now. They didn't call it Arabia.
Yeah, that's just Saudi is this. Yeah, house of Saudi.
Yeah. Remember, Arab ain't exist till the 19th century. They weren't called Arabs. You look in political writings, as the brother said, you'll see Moors, you'll see Moroccan power. I don't see nothing that says Arabic power.
Brother, I ain't see, brother. I got 25 years of research, brother. I ain't seen. Mhm.
So we look at all of this, even through their auxiliaries. They're wearing what's yours. And the ones that are in there that our brothers and sisters actually don't know and aren't being taught it. And if they do know, I can't see that they know.
Not the ones I met. I don't see that they know either, brother.
There's a lot of them that are claim, oh, come from Egypt, and no. That's not in any treaty I've seen. And they say they've adopted the Fez from the Near East. But back on this, Brother Israel, can you go to the next slide? Now, the Spanish and Roman Inquisition differed significantly. Isabella I and Ferdinand II demanded from Pope Sixtus IV an autonomous instrument of investigation to be used exclusively at the monarch's discretion. A special board of inquisitors was therefore established to act independently of Rome, imposing punitive measures on Jews and Moors. It didn't say Arabs. Jews and Moors, and putting Jews who had converted to Christianity under special surveillance. Such conversos or converted Jews were suspected of continuing to practice their former religion clandestinely. A large-scale persecution of this group saw half of its members burnt at the stake in a public show trial, the auto da fe. As a symbol of stigmatization, they had to wear a caroja, a special pointed cap. Do that sound like the dunce cap, Brother Ab?
Yep.
You look at the point even of what they call the KKK. which if you do the basic math on it, K is the 11th letter of the alphabet. So 3 times K, 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 11, 11, 11, 33. And I invite anyone to go do a real study on the Ku Klux Klan, because as you can tell, those 3 words, that's not English, but that's another study. So they made it a point, to the point of burning us or burning brothers and sisters at the stake for just
No, you said no. You said it right. You said us.
yeah,
Burning us. Yeah, go ahead.
burning us at the stake for just practicing your culture, even quietly, even hidden, clandestine, not out in the open. They burnt us at the stake for it. Our sisters who were burnt at the stake in the so-called, what they termed the Salem witch trials. And here you have in the mystic order, the veiled prophet of the enchanted realm, you know, the grotto. Here their women's auxiliary unit is called the Mysterious Order of the Witches of Salem. But they say it has nothing to do with that. You got that whole name, and it has nothing to do with you. Go look at who they was burning. Go look at who they was killing in the Salem witch trials. It wasn't just pale-skinned women. Go look at that. They're utilizing things right in front of us. It's more than what does it matter now. What matters is that if you keep letting them do it, what are your children going to know? I've said earlier, a little 5-year-old girl said they're wearing a Shriner's hat.
This is how they came into. This is how they came into world power and domination. Of course, it matters now. Knowing how they by defeat. How did it come to Mr. Bay? As one of my co-workers, I chronicled this in my Moors and Masonry Part 1. Mr. Bay, one of my former co-workers said to me, he asked me, Mr. Bay, how did the Europeans come into world power and domination? I said, that's easy. By defeating the Moors. So that doesn't matter? That doesn't matter to know that they came into world power and domination by defeating the Moors? That means they're in our position. They traded places with us. They've stolen our birthright. They're controlling our resources and land. They're subjugating us. This knowledge is powerful, an organized political body of people, not as individuals. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's not powerful. I'm clear. It's not powerful. What we're saying is not powerful as a group of individuals. Be clear. It's powerful as an organized political body, not powerful as individuals. I gotta say it a million times, I'll say it a million times. Because I don't know, it's not powerful as individuals. It's powerful as an organized political body. You're not going to effectuate change. To say that I don't know what I'm talking about, that means you have to show me in the annals of history, some reference in the annals of history where change was effectuated outside of order, where change was effectuated outside of organization. Someone show me, don't say it to me, show me in documentation that change was effectuated outside of organization. I digress.
I don't know, brothers and sisters. It's right in front of us. To let it keep going on, it matters. It matters to know this. If they had no proper, actual knowledge base to help them even be civilized until we came amongst, think of it like this. Because of the Moors that ran the seas, they couldn't travel. So you locked up in Europe. The Dark Ages. Where you learn astronomy from? Where you learn math from? Where you learn to navigate out of Europe? Where'd you learn to navigate to come over here to what's termed the Americas? Soon as the expulsion from Spain, Cristobal Colon came here, supposedly. And even in Cristobal Colon's own journals, even though he thought he was going over to India, supposedly, I doubt that. But he seen a mosque on top of a hill, and he was down near Havana, Cuba, and yet seen a mosque. Anybody understand what they looked at as mosque architecture? So what did he see? He seen Moorish architecture. They took what they learned and then kicked us out. And everywhere you look, England, the British, all of them talk about the Moroccan power. Queen Elizabeth and Sultan Murad III.
Yes.
She sought an alliance with him to protect her from the Catholic Church coming in and taking all her lands. And when they show the writings between them, he addresses her as if she's a secondary sovereign. And she accepts that and knew that was her place and did not argue about it. And he protected her from the Catholic Church coming in and taking England's lands.
This wasn't an Arab emperor, right? This was a Moorish emperor, right? Not
Yes.
an Arab. Wasn't an Arab emperor?
No.
Oh, a more. Oh, all right.
Moorish Sultan.
Let me go to some. Check out.
She sought help to protect her from the Catholic Church and taking her lands. And she sought help from the Sultan. And he addressed her as a secondary sovereign. He did not show that she was equal on his level. And he helped her. And he kept the Catholic Church away from taking her lands. Think of the power base you got to have for that. The Moroccan power base was not something weak. We didn't come from weakness. They systematically set out to take down the big dog on the planet. That was us. They say Asian culture goes back 5,000 years.
All right.
And when you trace their culture too, it still leads back into us.
I'm on the comments. I'm on the comment section. Continue talking. I'm strolling through right now.
All right, brother.
Mm-hmm.
The Moroccan power base wasn't something that's weak. We were the ones on the planet that they had to break down in order for them to even be able to do what they're doing. They had to learn everything from us. They had to get that to use it against us, because otherwise they were uncivilized. And their savagery wasn't enough to do it. They had to get light from the Moors. Just to get out of the dark ages. They had to get light from the Moors in order to be clean and healthy.
Hey, brother, I'm serious. There's a comment here I want you to address.
Okay.
This is Allison 365. This came in at 717. Nobody's stealing anything. It's America, a free country for it's America, a free country for anyone to study anything. Moorish doctrine is both distorted and false. We want to address that. Nobody is stealing anything. That's the first thing. Nobody is stealing anything.
So if nobody is stealing it, who said they could use it? They tell you where they adopted it from. Who said they could use it? And if they can use it, why are they not teaching where they got it from? If that's the case, if it's not important, if this is a free nation, you say this is a free nation. Free for who? If you're free, I would definitely like to know how you're free. So am I free to come in your house and take whatever I want and be free with it and claim it as mine? Am I free to walk around the street, act like you, dress like you? Let's say you're a female. If a female came up to you and dressed like you, act like you, and mimicked you, would you be entertained? Every time you said something, they said something? Their whole dialogue and everything they do is to talk like you, dress like you, and then tell you you're not allowed to do it without paying a certain amount of money? Is that free? My brothers and sisters that's up in these lodges and these courts and these different places, they can only wear their fezzes on certain days, as they're taught. They don't even understand that they can walk out that door with it freely, let their tassels spin the way that they want to spin. But no, that's been suppressed from you. So what makes that free? All over the world, everybody imitates hip hop. They do it freely. But what's the one thing they do? They acknowledge that it comes from hip hop. Here, these people are stealing our whole culture, our whole heritage. They utilize these same organizational structures to also, if you really get into it, steal our land and our birthright. Because long as you call yourself other than what you are, they got it. You ain't using it. You have brothers sitting there talking about, we don't know how to use the feds right anyway. Do that mean they supposed to keep taking advantage? But we're free. America is the land of the free. Free to steal, free to take what you want and not get acknowledgement to where you got it from. Where's the freedom? What's the freedom in using my people's culture, symbols, regalia, and then telling me that it's yours? And not to mention, it ain't cheap to be in a shrine, and it ain't free. So to be in the shrine, I gotta pay to be me. Think about that. Where is the freedom in the fact that I gotta pay to utilize my culture's regalia, my fez, and I be told that I can only wear it during a parade or an event or a party? What right have they to tell me that? If I don't know, okay, I don't know. But that's where we should know.
But then the question is, why don't they know? Why don't our people know?
Because it's being suppressed and told to them in a different format. They're being told about it in a format that's not taking them past 1872 when the feds is older than that. They're not being told that it was adopted from you. It's just told that it's adopted from the East. They use these code words like East, from the East, from Arab. Certain places they'll just say Persia. They use these code words to suppress the actual information of knowledge that it is ours. And through that suppression, they in our pockets. Because you can't wear it unless you're a member. And if you're a member, it costs. So I gotta pay to express me amongst people who are not me. And those that are part of me don't know either. So we just stuck in the same rut. None of us getting past 1872. None of us getting past Egypt over there in Africa. None of us are getting past the reconstructed history that's been put before us to suppress the information that they walking around living out our culture. Masonic structure, the whole architecture, astronomy, rhetoric, arithmetic, they didn't know any of this until coming out of the Dark Ages. How did they get out of the Dark Ages? From what we taught them. And then they suppressed it from us and banned us from being able to use it afterwards. They burnt the books that were unnecessary. Well, let me rephrase that. They burnt the books that were necessary to be burnt so that we would lose a lot of that knowledge and kept what was best and important for themselves. And they inseminated it into their own culture and made us think that it came from them. They even took on the aspect of being called white man. Before Horace Greeley and the boys, I haven't read too many places where they called themselves white. Not before Blumenbach and the boys put the caste system together. We're dealing with a lot of miscommunication, but we're also dealing with a lot of suppression. And unfortunately, I dare to say it. Hey, look, some of our conscious and unconscious Moors are helping with the suppression. And it's just what it is. I ain't afraid to say it. It's what it is.
Hey.
Any more questions up in the chat?
That's what. Let me see. The people the Moors failed to conquer, and the ones that took a back, and the ones that took a back were taught under the Moorish. It's a question mark. I don't understand that. Do you understand it?
No, say that again.
The people the Moors failed to conquer, and the ones that took, I think, it back were taught under the Moorish. And there's a question. It's a question mark. So I guess it's a question. I guess I can't help you, brother, because I don't understand it, bro. If you can help me out.
I'll go with this with it.
All right.
It will help whoever's asking the question. The ones the Moors actually fell to was the French.
And you talk about go ahead.
If we're talking about in these lands, especially, it would have been more the French. Now, France and Spain been going back and forth with the Moorish lands for a minute. As far as those being taught, they've been getting taught since Spain, France, England. The first French lodge in France was opened by an Englishman. That was opened by the English. So you look at the different compacts that they had back then and things like that, depending on who was in whose lands, especially when they're at war with each other, because England and France were at war with each other too. And you look at the first French lodge that was open, it was actually opened by the English. And when you get into the whole Moorish aspect, especially when you're dealing with Spain and bringing them out of the Dark Ages into the Renaissance, yes, they were taught by us. Yes, they used that against us. And yes, they're still using it against us. So to answer your question, the ones that took us back or fell back, yeah, the ones who knocked us off, we taught them first, then they knocked us off.
So you meant knocked off, and that was good. Now we have born first 7596. Now born first 7596 will contest the statement. His statement is abandonment is what they'll call it if you don't use it. Is it that we abandoned the pragmatica? All right, pragmatica. Here we go. Born first. In 15 and Ryserius brought this up, and we read one of the slides, the pragmatica of 1557. The King Philip II of Spain. That's a royal edict. So that's not abandonment. When you have a king, King Philip II, issue a royal decree forbidding us from wearing our Moorish fez and turbans and speaking Arabic. That's not abandonment. That's subjugation. abandonment will be on our part, which means there's no subjugation implied. It's voluntary. It's voluntarily given up. But but born first, I hold gun to your head. I hold gun to your head, born first. Give me your fez. Take that fez off, born first. I hold gun to your head. You take the fez off. Born first abandoned his fez. Born first abandoned his fez. No. Born first had a gun to his head. That's not my putting a gun to your head, born first, is not abandonment. So we didn't abandon anything. I don't know where we get this abandonment from. It's subjugation in international law.
We were run from our land.
Yeah, we weren't abandoned. We didn't abandon. It's not abandonment. It's conquest. It's not abandonment. It's subjugation. It's not abandonment. It's colonization.
And there's too many that died to sit there and call it abandonment.
Oh man, yeah, that's a. Whew.
It's too many that died. Too many that got burnt at the stake. Too many that kept practicing. Too many that wouldn't release it. Too many that didn't convert and become convertibles. Too many that didn't convert to Christianity. They chose to lose their head. Too many that died. There was no abandonment. There was no abandonment.
Yeah, that's due a lack of study. That's all. That's all. You know, that's why we here.
They do say it is certain unconscious Moors that do say that we abandoned the kingdoms and so they just sat in the seats.
But where's the evidence? That's saying though. That's
got gun. If you're at gunpoint, you're not abandoning anything.
That's why we here, brother.
And so no, we didn't abandon our seats. We didn't abandon the land. When they came from the east and started walking towards the west and was just making the native populations, you know what I mean, move or die.
Yeah, that's not abandonment. That's conquest.
When they was going there up in California trying to get the gold and all that, and they was telling everybody, get your ass off this land. And they didn't move and they was just killing them.
That's called conquest. Not abandonment.
That ain't abandonment.
Yeah,
with all respect, God, with all respect, that ain't abandonment.
No. It's conquest.
Mm-hmm.
Subjugation.
And colonization follows.
And colonization. Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's not abandonment.
Mm-hmm. But what else we got, brother?
Let me see. We got 20 minutes. Continue. Go to the next slide. I don't see any. Run.
Yeah.
Free to run their mouth. I guess they're talking about us. I don't know. Free to run the mouth. Intellectual property rights. It's not. Yeah, some things I'm not really understanding. Some of the questions though. I mean, 75% or 3/4 of the planet was dominated by our Moorish ancestors. A statement. Yeah, let's continue. Let's go with the continue with the
Yeah, you can hit 2 slides up, brother. Is one more. And see, that's where it gets into to the royal decree by King Philip II of Spain that outlawed the Arabic language and Moorish customs, dress, and names to suppress Moorish heritage among the Moriscos, forcibly converted Muslims, and promote Christian assimilation. Now, this draconian measure, which prohibited Arabic baths and mandated Castilian attire, triggered the Morisco Revolt of 1568-1571, after which the Granadian Moriscos were dispersed to other regions of Spain in an attempt to break up their community and enforce conversion. That don't sound like abandonment. After the Reconquista ended in 1492, the remaining Muslims in Spain were forced to convert to Christianity and became known as Moriscos. So if you look up, they even cast the Moriscos out. They prohibited Arabic baths. Who prohibits bathing? But they prohibited the Arabic bathhouses really because that's where they would actually have meetings. So that's another story, another aspect of it to get into for what they called their clandestine meetings. Now we look at all of this. Why so much to wipe that out? These Moors converted to Christianity and they still ran them out. And they revolted. 1568 to 1571. Mind you, Spain just took it back in 1491. So this is barely 80 years later, and they still revolting and fighting. Now, this is still not counting Tripoli and the rest of them who's still controlling the seas, all the way up to like the 1800s, 1900s. There were still pirates on the seas, seizing ships. So with all this still going on, yeah, they got them off the land, but the Moors are still at sea, was still robbing them. The Navy power base of the Moors was still strong.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they would have been seeking treaties to have safe passage across the waters up into the 1900s. So even they banned us from using our culture. They even took those of us who decided we're going to convert to Christianity, and that wasn't good enough either. That wasn't good enough either. The same with the Jews who converted. That wasn't good enough either. They wanted them out. They wanted us out. And then after getting us out, they utilize our culture. Most of the time as a mockery. They call some of these lodges even Shriners. They're being used for philanthropic purposes. Who taught you philanthropy? Who taught you logical thinking? And just on a basic level, who taught you to wash your ass? But now we're beneath you. You suppress our information and then tell us it belonged to you. And we were uncivilized, living a jungle life with a bone in our damn nose in Africa somewhere. Brothers and sisters, it's important to know this because the time is up. They've had us acting not like ourselves for way too long now. And then every time you got a certain amount of brothers that want to wake some of us up, It'll be another sect of brothers to try to take it down and counteract. Moorish science has been around for over 120 years. I've only been hearing about post-millennium in about the last 10. Post-millennium has been in existence before the Moorish Science Temple. My brothers and sisters, I'm not at odds with any faction of Moors or anything. That's not my vibe. Brothers and sisters who are indigenous to these lands here, who are also called Moors, whether it's Mours, whatever the case may be, only thing I can say, brothers and sisters, is study. Look at these things from a international perspective, from a political perspective, because looking at it any other way, when you get down to the get down, ain't gonna change nothing. I don't see nations from other countries talking about any tribes. They're talking about nations. The Moroccan power is a bunch of tribes, but we still one nation. You don't want to call yourself Moor? I want to say that's fine, that's cool, but it's not. Because politically, where do you stand? When talking to other nations, where do you stand? Moors are indigenous to here, just like the ones who are indigenous to here are indigenous to here. We've already established before that colony over there that they call Morocco is not where we're from. That's one of the colonies that we created. It's not the seat, nor has it ever been. They had to take us down in our own land before they could take us down anywhere else. And when you start to look at what the Franciscan Brotherhood was doing over here, and the French was doing over here, do studies on New Orleans, do studies of Louisiana. Look into that. Look at some of the nations and how they were angry. They fighting with each other. Europe or France, England. They fighting with each other. Why? Because the Moors is running things and they don't want them to. They all had a problem with the Moors. And they all had basic treaties with the Moors. Why is that being suppressed? Why are we being taught a root story? Why are we being taught that we came from Africa and then came over here?
I see you want to go to the next slide.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Historical foundations, Moorish civilization in Spain and North Africa vastly influenced the intellectual climate of medieval Europe, especially in areas such as architecture, mathematics, and astronomy. Many historians argue that European Freemasonry borrowed some of its secret wisdom, symbols, and philosophies from the Moors, most notably after their rule in Spain ended and the knowledge was absorbed and encoded by later Western secret societies. They took our shit and then banned us from using it. So much so that to get into astronomy, by the time you get into it the way they teach it in the Bible, it's devilish, man. It's satanic. Anything to keep us away from learning what was ours. They call certain aspects witchcraft, but it was just the way of the wise. And it all translated or came back to us. They take what we have, transliterate it into a certain format, and then because of the mindset of the people, they can give it to them as dogma and subjugate them. I'm not going to get into the aspect of the subjugation of religion. I'm going to just say the subjugation of certain dogma that most religions utilize in order to keep the people at bay, to keep them asleep.
We'll go to the next slide.
Go ahead, brother. Esoteric and symbolic parallels. Moorish contributions to sacred science, including the use of symbols like the pentagram, the seal of Solomon in Islamic tradition, and building techniques seen in Masonic art and architecture. The square, compass, and other Masonic tools may reflect the coded transmission of Moorish wisdom about the laws of nature, the cosmos, and mathematics. Encounters between Freemasons and Sufi mystics in Moorish lands led some to claim a shared parentage of mystical traditions, with Sir Richard Burton describing Sufism as the eastern parent of Freemasonry. No matter where you go, it's ours. These things that some of our brothers and sisters enter these lodges and these places and these organizations in order to get this light, and they paying.
And they're not getting light. I mean, they're not getting light.
Like, what are you paying for? Some pay for the fraternity. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Because the brotherly love can be real.
Mm-hmm.
But to wear a fez, to be in a shrine, it costs thousands. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't need the shrine to wear my fez. Especially when you're not even teaching me past 1872 about my fez. So what would the purpose be to be in a shrine? Like they say, it's a, just for philanthropic reasons, for brothers to come together and have fun and all of that. They're in mockery of my damn culture. You having fun imitating me, but gonna charge me for it and tell me I can only wear it once a month? Yeah, all right. That don't sound like freedom to me. The same way they on our land and charging us to live in houses on our land. Ain't no difference. And we mentally colonized to think, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. This is America, the land of the free. They didn't colonize our mentality to believe the American dream. Wake the hell up. It's really a nightmare. Wake the hell up.
Mm-hmm. How many more slides we have? Let's look at the.
That should be one of the last ones for this one.
That's the last one?
Now we got one more.
All right,
Two
just
more.
go to 2 more. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So we got Queen Elizabeth I sought to establish alliances outside Catholic Europe after England's excommunication and ostracization. She pragmatically reached out to Sultan Murad III, emphasizing similarities between Protestantism and Islam, particularly their shared rejection of idolatry and priests as intermediaries to God. Murad III warmly received the overtures, granting English merchants privileges and safe access to Ottoman ports, thus facilitating trade and commerce. The diplomatic letters from Murad to Elizabeth were lavishly decorated and formal, marking a cordial alliance spanning about 17 years. Diplomatic exchange, the correspondences reflect mutual respect, though Murad addressed Elizabeth as a subordinate sovereign within his cosmic and imperial worldview. Elizabeth called herself the defender of the Christian faith while recognizing Murad as sovereign of the Eastern Empire. This alliance had significant commercial impact, allowing England access to lucrative Ottoman markets, which undercut Spanish dominance in Mediterranean trade. So basically, not only did she stop the Catholic, she get help to stop the Catholic Church from taking her lands. He opened up the ports to her so that her commerce could get up and she could get her money up. And he looked at her as what? A subordinate sovereign, meaning she was not on equal terms with him. He didn't have to help her. And she was a Protestant, which was not Islamic. And yet he did it. And he kept the Catholic Church off her ass. And he got her to put some money in her pocket by opening up the ports for her to be able to come there and do trade when Spain couldn't. Spain couldn't do nothing in no Ottoman ports. That don't sound like a secondary type nation. That don't sound like a secondary power.
Mm-mm.
And it kept the Spanish off of her ass. That means it kept the Inquisition off of her ass. This is a Moroccan power. I'm sorry, Islamic power, not Arabic. An Ottoman power. Family name.
Yep, Osman. Yep. House of Osman. Yep. We go to the last slide.
Last one. Shows you pretty much what my brother was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Fez, Medina, you got the scimitar, the moon and crescent.
And look at the name on the grottos fez.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom at the bottom. The black fez, the grottos. Mystic Order, MOVPER, stands for Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the shrine, that's that temple's name, Mori. And the shrine on the Moorish fez, the Burgundy, they have Medina. That's the name of the shrine, the Moorish name that they use for the shrine, that shrine temple.
Mm-hmm. And Art Mori, they say, is part of a Latin phrase where the full version is Art Vincere, Art Mori, either to conquer or to die. And they got it on our face. They're utilizing what's ours right in front of us, brothers and sisters. They claim to use it for fun. They claim to use it for philanthropy. Nowhere are they telling you that it's yours. Even in the mystic order of the veiled prophet, what the grotto is, you won't get too many rituals or ritual information. You might get a little bit, but their auxiliaries, they got cauldrons and mysterious witches of the Salem trials, all of that. What was it? Mysterious order of witches of Salem. Who are they trying to imitate in doing all of this? Because it's not themselves. They're being themselves, which is a culture bandit, a culture thief, a subjugator, and a colonizer. And they're using our sciences to do it. They got us running around chasing dogma while they're wearing our shit in secret.
Brother, this is wonderful, man. I mean, this is wow. This is very powerful, man. To unite with you and doing this Moorish Connection to Masonry series. This is once again, this is a monthly series. We're gonna do this for 6 months. Moorish Connection to Masonry series, part one. All right, so stay tuned every first Monday of the month from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time, every first Monday of the month here on Magnus Crystal Pyramids YouTube. We have the Moorish Connection to Masonry series. And so we'll see uh, you for we'll be back again for the part two of the series on the first Monday of December. All right, I have again for the second time Taj Tariq Bey next week. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Taj Tariq Bey will be my special guest again for the second time. He was on about over 2 months ago. All right, so Taj will be in the house at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. So I'm looking forward to that. So Strolling Across the Stream is my website, mooresandmasonry.org, to get my book, Moors and Masonry Part 1. Go to mooresandmasonry.org, as well as Part 2, as well as my other books, etymology books, the Masonic Compass Square and the Connection of Measurement and Timekeeping, the How a Venus and Moon Rule, the Illuminati and the Illumination of Mind. Go to mooresandmasonry.org. This is also being aired live on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. All right, so I thank everyone don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please share this. Let people know that we were live and direct, and we will be this Moorish Connection to Masonry series will be for 6 months, every first Monday. All right. Once again, I'll see y'all next week with Taj Tariq Bey as my guest for the second time. Peace, everyone. Brother Israel, thank you for co-piling with us, brother. I greatly appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Viserius, before we close it out, Viserius.
Yeah, Brother Israel, I definitely want to thank you. Brother Ab, want to thank you, brothers and sisters. I thank you. Hopefully, I gave you quality for these 2 hours. The next one will be great. We'll continue with this series, and hopefully, it'll bring you more light and love. And with that, I say Islam. Peace.
Peace.
I am the that I am. I am the I am that I am. I am the that I am. I am the that I am. I am that I am. I am the soul, the spirit itself. I am more than my body. I am more than my emotions or negative thoughts. I am more than any limiting beliefs. I am that. I am that I am. 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 I am the soul, the spirit itself. I am a spiritual being of divine light and intelligence. I am divine love and divine power. I am connected to one, my higher self. I am connected to the divine spirit in me. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. There is only oneness.